And black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
Stop saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma, sorry.
Bill Maher has been on a one-man mission to dismantle woke arguments like it's his personal calling, and his latest target is none other than Whoopi Goldberg. Let's be honest, she didn't exactly dodge this one. With her growing list of head-scratching comments over the past few years, she practically invited the scrutiny. Since 2022, Maher hasn't just criticized Whoopi. He's systematically taken her apart, piece by piece, delivering a takedown so relentless it had her scrambling like a cartoon character dodging falling anvils. So what did Goldberg say this time to light Maher's fuse? And how did his unfiltered response leave the woke crowd reeling? Buckle up, because this one isn't a smooth ride. It's a roller coaster with no seat belts.
Got to get past this endless, unforgiving, zero-tolerance mindset bent on punishing and disappearing anyone caught saying the wrong thing. The right response to speech you don't like is more speech.
Whoopi Goldberg stirred the pot once again, and this time reality came knocking hard. And it wasn't gentle. If you remember our earlier breakdown where Maher dismantled Sunny Hostin for twisting his words, it's clear the View panel hasn't forgotten that loss. They weren't about to let it slide. Enter Whoopi Goldberg, seemingly ready to settle the score. It looked less like a discussion and more like a reality show showdown no one asked for. Sunny couldn't handle Maher's heat, so she brought in backup. And Whoopi showed up ready to clash, full force, no subtlety, no restraint.
Black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
Classic Whoopi. She flipped straight through the woke playbook like it was sacred text. The moment her argument started sinking, she pulled out the trusty straw man and went on the offensive. Maher was making a simple point. Black Americans want better jobs, a stronger economy, and accountable policing. Clear, direct, hard to argue with. But then Whoopi veered off into a ramble about backing a former prosecutor and vague working-class initiatives. Did it connect? Not even remotely. It was like watching someone throw darts blindfolded and hope one hits the board. Maher noticed immediately, and he wasn't about to let it slide.
Statues of Lincoln and get rid of the police. Just, no, it's not that I've gotten old, it's that your ideas are stupid.
Maher pointed out what many viewers were already thinking. Whoopi's argument wasn't just weak. It lacked coherence altogether, something The View has become known for. The show has turned into the political version of a train wreck. Painful to watch, yet oddly hard to look away from. Its reputation for divisive and questionable takes is well earned, but Whoopi and Sunny have pushed it into new territory with their increasingly outrageous remarks. Remember when Charlemagne the God appeared as a guest? You could practically see him wondering if he'd stepped into an alternate reality.
The criticism is valid because, Democrats stand on this moral high ground all the time and, they act so self-righteous. The reality is he didn't have to say anything in regards to, whether or not, his son wanted to be pardoned. He could have said, hey, man, I'm not focused on that.
Then came the issue that really exposed the cracks. President Joe Biden, who famously declared that no one is above the law, issued a pardon to his son Hunter Biden after his conviction on corruption-related charges. Family values, right? The backlash was immediate and justified. You can't preach accountability while carving out exceptions for your own family. Hunter's wrongdoing wasn't subtle. It was obvious. Yet accountability mysteriously vanished. Charlemagne made the obvious point. If the woke crowd insists no one is above the law, they should probably live by it. Simple enough. But Whoopi had other ideas.
I'm going to stop you for a second.
Uh-oh.
Only because you don't know that it was a lie. We don't know why he changed
You really think he just changed his mind over Thanksgiving weekend all of a sudden?
No, I'm going to tell you what I think.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he changed his mind because he got sick of watching everybody else get over.
Cue another jaw-dropping moment. Whoopi Goldberg confidently claimed that President Biden wasn't lying when he said no one is above the law. Seriously? That statement exists on video, audio, and in print. There's no ambiguity. Watching her deny it was like watching someone argue gravity doesn't exist while standing firmly on the ground. The level of denial was impressive in the worst possible way.
The nation was founded on the principle that there are no kings in America. Each of us is equal before the law. No one is above the law. Not even the President of the United States.
At this point, watching Whoopi twist reality felt surreal. It was like someone insisting the sky isn't blue on a clear day. Her mental gymnastics were Olympic level, though even there she'd probably trip over her own logic. Charlemagne's reaction said everything. His face captured pure disbelief. And then Whoopi doubled down, suggesting Biden may have changed his stance because he was tired of people going after him. Charlemagne was left stunned. No rebuttal. Just silence.
So I'm just going to follow the straight and narrow always, because that's what's expected of Democrats.
But that's their fault. They're the ones that they're the ones that go out there and they stand on this moral high ground. They don't have to do.
This is the core problem with the woke crowd. Outrage only matters when the offender isn't part of their inner circle. When it's one of their own, accountability suddenly disappears. Deflection replaces criticism. Memory becomes selective. Whoopi and her crew managed to dodge real scrutiny on The View. But once Maher caught wind of their antics, it was over. He stepped in with a verbal takedown that reminded everyone why he's one of the sharpest voices on television.
Love to speak truth to power, and we always should, but you have completely lost the ability to speak truth to bull.
Maher nailed it. The woke mob loves presenting itself as the ultimate authority on truth and morality, but their double standards are impossible to ignore. Hunter Biden was guilty. Plain and simple. Yet because his father occupies the Oval Office, he walks free. If this were anyone else, the calls for punishment would be deafening. Instead, justice took a backseat to loyalty. Maher called it out for what it is. A system bent to protect the powerful while punishing everyone else.
Appropriate to bury the Hunter Biden.
You're talking about the press doing that?
He's saying that's what they did, and that is what they did. They buried the Hunter Biden story before the election because they were like, we can't risk having the election thrown to Trump. We'll tell them after the election.
And we know for a fact that that's what they did?
Of course. You don't
but
follow
I'm
this.
saying you know for a fact that that's what they did. I don't know what they did.
I know, because you only watch MSNBC.
No, that's not true.
The media's role made it even worse. Major outlets bent over backward to downplay the Hunter Biden scandal, dismissing it as disinformation while evidence piled up. At the same time, dissenting voices were silenced or mocked. Whoopi eagerly joined the effort, brushing off the allegations on The View. Maher wasn't having it. He exposed how the media shifted from watchdogs to defense attorneys, tearing apart the excuses and laying the hypocrisy bare.
Above any matters of politics or what's right or wrong, the one thing I know for sure about America is this. It's run by mean girls. Mean girls in the press and in politics and in life. And when they smell blood in the water, the lust to finish off a vulnerable person will never be denied.
Maher went further, calling out the View panel for what they really are. Not thoughtful commentators, but ideological enforcers. Anyone who strays from their approved narrative becomes a target. Debate isn't about truth. It's about dominance. Whoopi has perfected the art of dismissing opposing views with a smirk, as if disagreement is beneath her. Maher wasn't intimidated. He confronted them head-on, exposing bullying disguised as activism and hypocrisy masquerading as virtue.
Let's run for office as if the voters don't live here, as if they don't go to the grocery store and Starbucks and the office, but they do. But a poll last year asked, if America is the greatest country in the world, more blacks and Hispanic Americans agreed with that than the white progressives. It asked if racism is built into our society. White progressives agreed with that at higher levels than black and Hispanic people. It asked if government should increase border security. Same result. Hispanic Americans are less okay with illegal immigration than whitey.
He also addressed the left's ongoing obsession with Trump's victory. Maher made it clear. Trump didn't steal the election. He won because millions of Americans voted for him. Democracy worked whether the left likes the outcome or not. Blaming Russia, racism, or the latest trending villain won't change that. Sometimes the other side wins. That's not a flaw. That's how democracy functions. If the left wants a future victory, they need strategy, not endless victimhood.
There's a coalition of Trump voters, people who really like him. They certainly are those. And then there's people who don't necessarily like him that much, but they still think he's less crazy than stuff that strikes them as aggressively anti-common sense.
Maher also shattered the myth that all Trump voters are extremists. Many people voted for him reluctantly, not out of devotion but exhaustion. They were tired of being lectured, scolded, and talked down to. The woke movement's disdain for common sense pushed moderates away. If Democrats want to win them back, they'll need to stop embracing every fringe idea and start speaking to everyday Americans again.
Saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma, sorry. Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
In the end, Maher didn't just win the exchange with Whoopi Goldberg. He dominated it. The so-called champion of tolerance couldn't tolerate dissent. The irony was impossible to miss. A show that claims to celebrate diverse opinions recoiled when faced with one it didn't like. Maher exposed the woke echo chamber for exactly what it is. A place where loyalty matters more than truth and dissent is treated like heresy. Watching him dismantle their arguments wasn't just satisfying.